Aloha kakahiaka. Welcome, everyone. Peter K. And it is fantastic to be back. Welcome. Today is March 29th, 2024, and you are on the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. Welcome. I guess the correct Hawaiian word is e komo mai, everybody, which means welcome. Welcome to our show. I am joined here today with my friends. We have Dylan Nonaka, who is from the Big Island, and we have Heidi Dollinger, who hails from Maui. And there we go. We have Ashley Wasan, who is from Oahu. Welcome, Ashley. Perfect timing in classic Ashley fashion is right here with us. We have a few other folks who have joined us too. We have Christine K. Christine is right here with us. Christine Reyes. Welcome, Christine. Hey, I thought I saw a bumper sticker, Reyes for Congress. Is that you, Christine, or is that a cousin or nephew? I'm wondering about that. But aloha, everyone. Welcome. Aloha to you, Christine. All right, folks. Well, look, let's. I'm going to back over here to our little screen, and we've got e komo mai means welcome. It is the Hawaiian word for welcome. We got a couple things to you. If you're not watching us live today, you've got chapters on YouTube. You can kind of click through to the parts of the show, but you're going to want to kind of see all this because we got some fun topics. We're going to go over some news, and we got a market update after that for every island, and we're going to handle your questions. We have a good question for today. There's some kind of crazy stuff going on with insurance rates, so you kind of want to tune into that one for sure. Then we're going to go over some diamonds and deals, some properties that we all think are really cool and neat, and we're going to close with some motivational thoughts. So with that, we need to warm up our microphones over here. So we're gonna warm up our mics with our friends. Tom's with us. Tom's from the UK. Tom, is kind of funny. I was just talking about you today. My wife was asking me, so where is everybody coming from? I said, well, the West Coast, so kind of all across the country. I said, we even have a guy who comes in from the UK, and that's you, Tom. You are the guy who Tom's coming in from a 10-hour time difference. God bless you, from the UK. All right, why don't we warm up those microphones? Let's go clockwise. Dylan, then Heidi, and then Ashley. Dylan, what is going on? Dylan's tradition is to bring the Aloha shirt, and he is our styling king. Dylan, what's going on, buddy?
So I'm today wearing a living hula shirt, which is my local designer friend, and a super cool update. And hopefully in the next month or so, I'll be wearing a shirt that is customized for our real estate team. So she took our Lauhala logo, which is the logo that you see on all of our branding, and made a Aloha shirt design out of it and incorporated it with the actual Lauhala leaves that are what's used to make the mats that are woven together. And so super excited about that. We just got confirmation that that's going to print, and so we'll have that here shortly.
Now, who's doing that? Did you mention who's doing that print for you, or who you're collaborating with to get that?
Living in Hawaii is the I'm sorry, Living Hula. We're on the Living Hawaii show. Living Hula is the designer, and they got an amazing website. Go check it out, livinghula.com. They got all kinds of great different styles. I mean, men are very limited. You get Aloha shirt, long sleeve or short sleeve, and actually they're starting to do golf shirts, which is cool too. So it's more the dry fit material, but the women's line is ridiculous. I mean, dresses, rompers, shorts, I mean, tops, bottoms, pants, the whole thing. So go check it out if you want really authentic, high quality Hawaiian wear.
Freudian slip, man. Freudian slip.
And maybe I should show you this. This is my new pair of Jordans I just got. My son.
Hold on.
So I got matching shirt and Jordans today. So I was in the mainland last week, and my son saw these at the shoe store, and he said, "Dad, you got to get these." So he's my shoe stylist. Is my 15-year-old son. So
I think we are going to be featuring the shirt and the shoes from now on. Every the morning update, it's the shirt and the shoes. Dylan, I was going to say you have a Freudian slip there. We need to do a living in Hawaii hula collab. We got to do that, man.
We'll host a fashion show. Right? Yeah. Okay. Ideas.
Yeah. And if the ladies are willing, I could see modeling going on. I mean, we're branching out on all kinds of new things. But speaking of wonderful ladies, Heidi, what about you? What's going on in Maui? And what's the Heidi's specialty is the coffee. What's your coffee for today, Heidi? And what's going on?
Well, I'm drinking one of my favorite coffees today, which is the red Kauai beans. And just excited for the new coffee harvest. There's 600 acres of coffee grown on Maui. A lot of coffee is grown right around me. So I don't know, it just tastes better knowing that it's right here. But something else really cool that I've been finally discovering is there's so many great early morning yoga classes at the beach where you just show up, make a donation. We have great yoga instructors here, so I've been taking advantage of that lately. And yeah, just walking on the beach with no shoes on at all, so I don't have any shoe advertisements for you.
So, yoga on the beach, that, I mean, I have to tell my daughters about that. Both of my daughters are like hardcore yoga, core power, unbearably high temperature, twist themselves into pretzels. They've been doing it since they were little. So, but they're no longer here. One of them is in Reno, Nevada, and the other one's in Colorado. And so I know they would certainly miss the beach. Hey, I need to give a quick shout out here to Bob Carl. Aloha from Hawaii Peninsula. Welcome back, Bob. Bob is becoming quite the regular, and I couldn't be happier. And yes, we're getting hammered with insurance hassles here too. So this is going to be a big topic. It's a big issue. It's not just here, because it's all a bunch of stories. It's like Florida too, etc. So Tom is circling back. Tom, hey, honored. Yes. Well, I'm glad, Tom. I mean, it's a big deal. It hailed on my walk to campus. It hailed. I wasn't sure what you meant by hailed, like hail, all hail the chief. No, raining hail falling from the sky. It hailed on my walk to campus today. So we need warm vibes more than ever. Yeah, I just got back from a trip. We had this really cool trip in Asia, and cold weather is not fun. It wasn't that cold, but it was like, we had to wear a jacket. It was in the 50s, et cetera, et cetera. And it was not fun, not fun at all. Oh, hey, Mark has joined us. Welcome, Mark. Aloha Ohana. Yes, Mark is a cornerstone of the Islander Ohana. He's with us today, and it's great. It's great to see Mark with us. Mark, welcome, buddy. Good to see you. Welcome. Okay, cool. Hey, let's see there. Let's move on. I think it is Ashley's turn, and there she is. So Ashley, what's going on? How is Oahu happening, and how are you happening?
I am good. Can you hear me?
Just fine.
Just got back from Japan, and we were so blessed. It's really close to Hawaii, so it's a nice popular destination, and the yen is certainly in our favor at the moment. Normally we have a lot of Japanese tourism here in Hawaii, and so we're seeing a lot of Hawaii go to Japan at the moment. So it was really fun. Took my daughter. It's our spring break. It actually just ended. So I know mainland has a spring break coming up or currently happening. And it was excellent. We got there right in time for a nice big snow squirrel. So we got 3 feet of snow and got to go snowboarding. Some of the best snowboarding in the world too. And eat amazing food. And we come back and it's just been absolutely stunning weather. Just could not be any more perfect. Not too hot, not too cold, sunny, little sprinkles of rain here and there. So it's just been a really great week. Great spring break.
Awesome. You went to Japan. When I was over the last show, my wife and I went on an Asian cruise. It was amazing. We went 11-day cruise, went to Korea and Japan. So we came back from Japan on the 20th. When were you folks in Japan?
We got back on the 23rd and we were there for a week. So the 15th to the 23rd, I think, or something like that.
Okay, so we were in proximity and didn't even know it. We were, yeah.
That's so fun. And when I was there, I was talking to other realtors, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm traveling today." And they're like, "Us too, we're leaving Japan." And it happened like 3 times. So there's just a crazy amount of people that were going to Japan right now because it's just so affordable. So for snowboarding, for example, we went to Hakuba. So we flew into Tokyo, and the lift tickets ended up being like $20, $25 per person for a full day. And then private lessons for our 8-year-old came out to like $10 an hour. It was just nuts. It was so awesome. It was her first time. So she left there learning how to snowboard for $60 for 6 hours of private lessons. And I was so excited. I was like, what's going on in Colorado? And can we go snowboarding one more time before the season's over? Because we were just learning. And I was like, oh my God, it's so expensive.
Well, let me verify that. Actually, I was in Tahoe snowboarding with my sons over spring break, and
oh yeah,
luckily I get a military discount. But the price before they apply the discount for the 3 of us for a whole day on Heavenly was like $780
One day, right?
for one day. It's like half the cost if you get military discount, but it's still like $400 for one day of snowboarding. So I have already bought my season tickets for next year, because it's like literally like $100 more for a season ticket. So if we just go once or twice, then it's way will pay for itself. But
can you buy ours too?
But I highly recommend, if you want to get into snowboarding, buy your season ticket now, because if you buy it like a year out, the discount is like 80%. If you wait till, if you go the day of on a weekend or whatever, you're paying almost like half the cost of a season ticket just for one day. So
it's such good advice. I do have commitment issues where I didn't even book the flight to Japan until 3 or 4 days before leaving. So I paid 3 times the cost of what I could have, because the idea of committing, like, I'm going to be on that slope for the year, it gives me anxiety right now. I'm getting warm.
Yeah. Hey, see, folks, not only do we have real estate tips and Hawaii tips, we also have cut your costs on skiing tips on this show live. You can't get it anywhere else. It's awesome.
It's good, because if you move to Hawaii, or if you live here in Hawaii, you are, on a tropical island, you want to go out and explore, you want to know. And a lot of people will say, well, it's so expensive when you live here. So having these tips of where to go, when to go, and how to do it really makes being here more plausible for, families who want to have adventures. So there's ways to live here and travel and have fun. You just have to know all the tips and tricks.
There you go. It's kind of interesting, because I don't want to get too wrapped up on this, but when we were in Japan, I did notice that, boy, things were kind of all reasonably priced. I don't think it was per se the exchange rate. I'd have to look at the historical thing, because I think the exchange rate has always hovered around 150 yen to the dollar, give or take. I can't remember exact. I'd have to kind of look at the history on it. But anyway, I agree. I kept expecting Japan to be like way more expensive, because I guess, I've never been there before, right? But a long time ago, when Japan was like all the rage, like in the 90s, like, Japan was like the rising superpower, and everybody was like freaking out that the Japanese were going to take over the world. Things were expensive back then, but not so much now. Well, look, I'm glad that Jesse likes the conversation. So Jesse, that's all I need to know, because it doesn't matter what I think about the conversation, it's what you think about the conversation. So thank you, Jesse, for chiming in. I really appreciate that. Hey, why don't we move on? Let's get some news cover. There's some fun stories I kind of want to hit, but before we do that, I got a question for all of you, this is a Ohana question. Okay. So I want to know, pop it in the chat. We are going to be talking about the insurance rates. It's becoming kind of an issue. What has happened to your insurance rates, whether you live in a condo, and it doesn't matter whether you live in Hawaii or anywhere else? Is anything going on with the insurance rates that you're getting for your condo or your home or your region? I'd like to know about that, because that's going to be a big topic for today. So just a quick one on that one, everybody. All right. So why don't we do this? Let's kind of hit some news over here. So some interesting things, I thought, again, some news that I thought were kind of fun. First of all, the Merrie Monarch Festival, which should come as no surprise to anyone. The Maui Monarch Festival was rated as the one of the highest, the number one choice on some national scale for events and cultural events, a nationally recognized number one event, which is no surprise. The Merrie Monarch Festival is absolutely an incredible piece. So that's kind of really fun. There's another, like, a crazy story over there about a 500. I want to hear this about this from Dylan, but there was a $500,000 house that was built on the wrong lot in the Puna district on the Big Island. That's East Hawaii. 500. I don't know if that would suck or that'd be awesome. But could you imagine like having a lot that you own on the Big Island, and you're driving there to check it out one day, and voila, there's like a $500,000 house on it. Now what? That should be fun. Maui short-term vacation rentals have been spared a moratorium, so that's another kind of a big story over there. Apparently there was, if you've been following our show, you know that Governor Josh Green had said, or there was some, I wouldn't call them threats, but there was word that they were going to try to put a moratorium. They were going to try to make short-term vacation rentals illegal in some way, shape, or form. That has been put on hold. So that moratorium against short-term vacation rentals has been put on hold. The whole issue has not been resolved yet, but there is a reprieve, a reprieve, a break. What about the Shaka? So this is cool. So look up in your upper right hand corner there. The Living in Hawaii logo is the Shaka symbol. So we were there first. We were there first. We had the Shaka symbol. Well, of course, went first. The Shaka symbol is a very popular symbol, but it may be official. There, it's moving through the legislature to make the Shaka symbol, Shaka, the official state gesture. So we're going to have an official state gesture. I hope that doesn't also mean that they're going to make anyone else who uses the Shaka illegal, because that would suck. I would not want to have the Living in Hawaii logo become something that the state takes control of. I hope not. Rolling outages, power outages. So Big Island is, there's a rumor about this, not a rumor, but Hawaiian Electric is telling its customers on the Big Island there may be some rolling outages. So it looks like they have not been able to, there's some power, a combination of a collection of circumstances. A couple of power plants have gone offline. They're short 30% or so. So get those PVs with the Tesla Powerwall. That's all I can tell you. And then finally, Kauai home price tops 1.4 million. I thought that was like that's a big number. I think Kauai is by far. I'd be curious, Heidi, what the median home price is on Maui these days. I know Oahu just kind of is bumping around a million or so, but 1.4, I just thought that was worth noting. And then finally, the weather. You know, Ashley, you mentioned the weather, and let me zoom in on over here. It's beautiful weather. I'll grant you that. Temperature-wise, it is beautiful weather. But man, I think this has been the windiest winter that I can remember. The wind is still kicking up, and right, it's something going. This year, it's been a very very windy. I haven't been able to go to Makapu for like months, because Makapu is that is my spiritual home on Wednesdays and Saturday mornings, and I have not been able to go there for months because it's been blown out. It's been too huge, and
we can't play pickleball because it's been too much. Right.
God help us. God help us. God help us. And hey, Frost, get with the program. He says, do you guys see the story where they build a $500,000 house on the wrong property? I just talked about that, dude. You must have just joined us. Welcome. We're glad that you're here. Here, Frost, look. Here, Frost, have a look. Second line, the 500K house built on the wrong lot. Glad you joined us. Glad you're here. God bless you. I'm happy that you're here. So before we move on, Jessica Morris. Jessica is a member of the Islander Ohana. Jessica, our building insurance doubled this year, making everyone's HOA homeowners association dues go up. Yeah, that is a bummer, and I think that's going to be a much bigger issue than we think. And Heather's chiming in. I told the Islander Ohana, say, hey gang, we're going to be bringing this up at the show today. So that's why we have Mark, who's here, and we have Jessica and Wes, who are here. We have Heather, who's here. These are all members of the Islander Ohana that are living in condos that presumably have gone up. And then, yeah, okay, you just joined. Aloha. Hey, gotcha, man. We love you, and we're glad that you're here for us. Cool avatar, by the way. What the hell is that thing? Anyway, cool, awesome. All right, why don't we do this? Let's get some market updates. Why don't we go counterclock? Let's move this counterclockwise. Let's go for Ashley and then Heidi and then Dylan. Give us the update. What's going on the market? What are some big shifts that you're seeing? Things that are worth notable. Oh, by the way, before we do that, Mark, yep, same here. 25 to 30 to 50K. All right, that's not fun. Not fun. Ashley, give us the update. What's going on Oahu? You're muted.
There's no secret. You can tell how I jumped on. I'm having major technical issues today. I normally like to give you how many houses have been on the market, how many have sold in the last 2 weeks. I am still working on finishing that slide. So Peter, you're gonna have to refresh your slide deck.
Just give us the update. Just give us the what's the cliff note here? Yeah. What's the one breath version? Give us the one breath version, Ashley.
Oh man, my one breath. Honestly, just as it was a couple weeks ago, we are coming into our spring market, and in Hawaii, we have really strong spring and summer markets. We're seeing that to be true still. The market is trending up. Days on market are still hovering around the same. We're going to be getting our statistics out for the month of March. So for our next show, we'll have more specifics, but we're seeing an uptrend in our market for sure. As far as it comparing to other markets on the mainland, it was interesting. I got this referral from Canada, and their market is nuts. They have 5, 10, 15 offers per listing, going above asking, $10,000, $30,000 above, escalation clauses like we were seeing in our COVID market. And I thought, well, I guess it's not that bad here, right? So yes, it's a strong market. Yes, things are moving fairly fast. We still have negotiation power. Days on market are pretty stable. Overall, it's a great time for both buyers and sellers. And you always want a market like that. We're still at about 3.5, 4 months of inventory, which is pretty low nonetheless. So we'll continue to see a strong market until there's more people coming on and selling their properties.
So we have that same dynamic that's been going on now for some time. There's not a lot of inventory, and so therefore prices are being kind of maintained. But there's also, and yet it's kind of a good balance of the market. Basically, it's a balanced market, which is good. Balances are, stability is nice. It's a good thing. Heidi, what's happening? Give us the Maui update.
Well, the Maui market is strong over here as well. Of note, I mean, kind of comparing what's going on now in 2024 versus 2023, we are seeing the number of more sales happening right now in our market. You mentioned the median price of a home on Kauai is 1.4. On Maui last month, median price of a home was 1.3. And in that kind of 1.3 range, that is a very, very competitive market for single family homes. Condos in some places, we have been seeing a little softening and stabilization in the prices, depending on what part of the market. But I mean, we continue to have fairly low inventory and strong demand. And we're seeing many off-island buyers coming back here now that may have taken a pause prior after the fires in 2023. And we are seeing that coming back. And I think as more clarity is reached as far as what's happening with short-term rentals, we're going to see the market pick up even more this summer as we go forward.
Heidi, I'm thinking that it's going to be the Maui's market is going to be a case study, one of these, years down the road. It's going to be a case study in sort of market dynamics, because you want to talk about a market that's been like thrown off like an incredible degree, right? You've had like a gigantic amount of inventory that's been pulled off the market. You've got people that have left, people that are staying. You've got these sort of, government incentives. You got the feds paying for money. You've got the state paying for money. You've got, moratoriums, regulations, all this kind of stuff. It's going to be interesting to kind of see how this turns out. It's going to be an amazing thing. I didn't realize that the median price was 1.3 for a single family home. Actually, do you know offhand what the median's at on Oahu? Is it still hovering around $1 million or so? I think it's like about $1 million, right?
I mean, as last statistics, it was $1.05 million.
$1.05 million,
hovering around there.
Yeah, it's bouncing around there. So interesting. Dylan, give us the Big Island update. What's happening in your neck of the woods over there?
We're also seeing a pickup in market activity. So the last like 6 months, we've been seeing like sub 375 sales per month, which is really, really low. Normally it's between 400 and 500. And so that's been slowly ticking up. Last month, it went up to 387. And then as of month to date, or so far, there's been 378. So we're going to surpass in the next couple of days. I'm sure there'll be more closings, and we'll surpass what we did last month. So we've been seeing ever since November was like the bottom of the trough. There was only 309 sales in November. We've been seeing uptick every single month. And what I talk about, I'm like a broken record, right, is inventory has still been hovering around 1,900 to 1,950 listings. And so as more properties start to sell, it's just the stuff that's coming on is selling quicker, and that's what's continuing to drive price and hold price up. So long term, it's probably, like Ashley said, this spring and summer market is gonna get busy, and we're gonna see continued increases in activity and potentially prices. So like we've been saying all along, waiting is not a good strategy at this point. And all the experts are saying that, I mean, interest rates for the foreseeable future are kind of where they're at. They may come down a little bit, but we're not going to get back into 5% interest rates this year. I think mid 6.5 is probably the best that'll happen, but that high 6s is where we're at. And I think buyers are starting to accept that fact, and the market has kind of readjusted in terms of adjusting price based on that. So price appreciation has definitely slowed down, but it's not falling. And I don't think interest rates are going to be a big factor this year. It's just going to be people getting used to it's the new world we're in. And, you know, if you need to buy a house, you need to buy a house. So,
what's remarkable, Dylan, we need to kind of to set an official birthday of the show so we can like mark the years going by, because I think we're coming on our 4-year mark. I know we are, because we did this. We started the show like just before COVID. I think it was like right before COVID.
It was right after COVID. It was right after.
Was it right after COVID? Okay,
Yeah,
it was right after COVID. We
so
just
maybe
started
like
this,
April.
right?
Yeah, it's probably like April of 2020, somewhere around April, May.
April 2020. Yeah. So we're coming, which is hard to believe. It's 4 years ago. Jesus. But right. It's been so much fun. But anyway, if there's one thing that I've picked up after doing all this, is like, do not bet against the Hawaii real estate market. I don't know about the rest of the mainland, but do not bet against the Hawaii real estate market. You're going to lose, because you are going to lose. You are going to lose. There were so many naysayers. Some people were saying, I remember that in the COVID days, oh, the market's going to crash. You know, it's going to be a grand opportunity. And, you know, all those who bought at COVID or prior to COVID are like singing the praises right now, are like seen as the smartest people in the world. And then when these interest rates went up, it was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? It's like, no, stable.
What's crazy is in many cases, like marking this 4-year mark, if you bought a house in March, April, May of 2020, like you've almost seen 100% increase in the value of your house, like across the board. So
that's just like so bananas. That's
so bananas.
So
but anybody who took the risk and bought in March, April, or May of COVID is like the smartest person in the world, which I'm included. I closed in April of 2020 in my house that I live in now, and it's 100% appreciation. So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I wish that my house would appreciate 100% from what it was in March. That would have been awesome. I mean, it has appreciated significantly, but 100% would be really cool. Yeah. But you know, the funny part about that, though, is right. It's like, right. Does it really matter? Because I mean, it wouldn't matter if my house increased like 500%, because I'm still living in the same house. I haven't, I'm not going anywhere, right? But I mean, so it's fun. It's fun. But
I did want to note on the Kauai market that what's interesting, right, is the Kauai market is 1.4 million median price. But the crazy thing about the Kauai market is so few sales, right? Like there was only 28 home sales last month, and so that's a big part of it. I mean, talk about scarcity in inventory. I mean, Maui faces this a lot too, but Kauai is even less, right? So that's a huge factor. And there's so much stuff that sells in that high end market that it's a shocking price, but it's a very small, it's a very small market there.
That's very true. Look, if you have 28 sales, one $3 million home or whatever, one $10 million home goes for sale. Bam, there goes that's going to throw the median all to hell, right? Or the average. I don't know about the median, but well, Frost tried. Unfortunately, I had to buy my property during COVID. I was hoping to get it before, but I just didn't have the money. Hey, you still bought it, dude. You still bought it. You still got it. So you're good. Whether you got it here, actually, again, this is the funny part about real estate, right? It kind of doesn't matter if it's for your home, because you're going to live in it, and you're going to live in it, presumably for a long time. So in a sense, who cares?
The saying, right? Peter, the only deal in the market is the house you buy today, 2 years from now. You're gonna feel like you got a deal 2 years from now. It doesn't feel like a deal today, but just wait 2 years and you feel like you got a great deal. So,
it's kind of funny on that note. I remember I'm sure there's a saying about this, but just that, the story goes like, when you first buy your house. I remember when we first bought our house, 30 years ago now, right? We're like, oh my God, how are we going to afford to make these mortgage payments? It's like, there's no way that we're going to do it, right? And now, 30 years later, it's like, what are you talking about? It's not even a factor. So TB's in Aloha Living in Hawaii crew, enjoying the show. I am so glad that you're enjoying it. I got to tell you, I'm actually having fun myself today too, which I wasn't about. So, hey, speaking of living in Hawaii, look, if you're here, welcome. We're glad that you're here. How did you get here? Did you get here through the newsletter? Because the newsletter we send out every Wednesday, livinginhawaii.com. Go there if you haven't. Get signed up. A thing will pop up. You pop in your email address. Of course, you can unsubscribe, but you want to be on that because all the new content, we have amazing photos that come up. We have, of course, the notifications, the invitations for the show, which is free. We have YouTube videos. You want to be on that. There's also a free course that you go through, a free email course to live in Hawaii, which is, we'll kind of take you through a whole bunch of things that you need to think about when you are living in Hawaii, if you're going to live in Hawaii, which is really popular. Cool. All right. Hey, so let's hit the big question for today. The big question. So what's happening with insurance rates? So there was a story that scared the crap out of me. I've been hearing from a lot of our Islander Ohana members. You saw them make some comments earlier. Mark Whitehill, Heather Lovell. Heather, is it Lovell or Lavelle? Is the emphasis on the first syllable or the second? Please forgive me for mispronouncing your name. Jessica Morris, Jess, and Wes are on, and they've all said that their condo insurance rates have gone up. And there's a story about that. There was one story that came in the media that said, somebody reported. This is a crazy number, but somebody reported that their insurance will be increasing from $345,000 to $3.4 million. And what that exactly means, what that is all about, I don't know. But the bottom line is that there's a lot of rumblings going on that insurance rates are going to go up significantly. One of the things that they had mentioned was that there's only 3 companies are providing new property insurance for condo buildings, and one of the 3 is threatening to leave the market. So there's a lot. Lavelle. Okay, Lavelle. Thank you, Heather Lavelle. Heather Lavelle. I apologize for that mispronunciation. So what's going. So here's what I wanted. So I am the armchair dumb guy in the corner that's hearing about insurance rates going up. I don't live in a condo, so I'm not freaking out yet, but I'm sure it's going to trickle down to single family homes too. What's going on? What's happening with the industry? What do you tell people who are looking at buying a condo or a home and they're saying, hey, I'm hearing stories about insurance rates, kind of skyrocketing? Is that something how do we kind of mitigate that, or what do we do about that? So why don't we kind of start with, let's go clockwise, Dylan, Heidi, and then Ashley. What's going on? Dylan.
Well, the short story is that condos have been underinsured for years, and the reason this is being driven is because it's preventing you from getting financing. So the way people are finding out is they apply for a loan, and when the mortgage company gets the condominium documents and all of the financial documents and they review it, they are not approving these complexes because they don't have the proper level of insurance to make lending on the complex acceptable. And so what the response is to this is, obviously you don't want to preclude, if you're a homeowners association and you have an interest in a condominium, you don't want to preclude buyers who need financing from purchasing within your building, because it's going to hurt your property values overall. And obviously the asset that you own, you want to have insured properly. And so it's causing these homeowner associations to have to increase their costs in order to fully insure their properties, and that is being passed on to the owners, obviously. So I think that's as succinctly as I can explain what's going on here, and I'll defer to the ladies. I mean, they do a lot of I think a lot more. We do a lot of condos on the Big Island, but like big Oahu and Maui have a ton. So you guys are probably seeing a lot more of this than we are.
Thank you for that one breath answer. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Sue Dallingen. I have a reminder on my iCal so I can be sure to get a little Hawaii fix and keep our toe in the water. Keep the toe in the water, Sue. And actually, when you come out here, you got to go hang out with Heidi and do yoga on the beach, because Heidi's doing yoga on the beach, which, it's a great way to put your toes in the water.
Sue's a Big Island girl. She wants to be on the Big Island, so we've been working on that.
Okay, well then you're going to put your toe in the lava rocks. Then toe in the lava in the lava rocks in the tide pools, the numerous tide pools. Of course, they're staying on the Big Island too. So Heidi, what's your answer to folks that have a concern? I got to believe that I would think that the issue is even more exaggerated on Maui because of the fires, I would think, in some way, shape, or form. What's your response to people who have a concern about the rising rates of insurance? What's happening?
Well, insurance rates are definitely going up significantly this year, and most condominiums are seeing a pretty significant increase in HOA fees because of insurance costs. And the reason is, the Lahaina fire on Maui is impacting it, but it's also disasters across California and the mainland and other areas. And there's only so many insurance agents that are even interested in insuring properties in Hawaii. And especially if you're within 1,000 feet of the ocean, there's even less insurance carriers that will insure properties. So, like, for example, one condominium I'm aware of, the previous year, the condominium association paid $160,000 for insurance for, I mean, the whole property, and then that went up to 1.6 million. Most other condos HOA fees are going up this year because of insurance, not necessarily that drastically, but it is pretty significant. I mean, the other thing that was brought to light through the Maui wildfires is a lot of condo associations were underinsured. And after they burnt to the ground, they realized, oh no, we don't have enough money to rebuild. So in those cases, I mean, they're going to have to assess the owners. And it depends how the bylaws are written. For example, the condo that I live in, the bylaws say that the board has to have insurance to cover the whole property. So they are, condos are looking at getting new appraisals and making sure that they're completely covered in case of a natural disaster. And then the other issue is lenders are just getting more particular. In some cases, they're requiring condos to have 100% hurricane coverage in order to do loans in the property. But the board, to get that, not 100%, I said that incorrectly, unlimited hurricane coverage. But the board doesn't necessarily want to spend money on that because it's super expensive and the HOA fees would go way up. So anyway, it's definitely a hot topic these days for condos.
Man, sounds like we got a perfect storm brewing. Jessica says, I thought our rate hike had to do with lack of fire sprinklers. Didn't realize the rest of the market was going up too. Seems like we got a.
Well, that's a separate issue. So that could specifically be for her condominium that there was new regulations that went into place. Also, the older buildings that don't have proper fire suppression systems need to put them in.
That's right. It's that too, right? As if this all wasn't enough, you've also got the sprinklers too. But it's not just the fire sprinklers. Hey, Sue, you have a buddy over here. Heather Lavelle says that's how it starts. Sue, toe in the water. Before you know it, you're living here. That's the way it goes. Keep a toe in the water, Sue. Make it happen. Definitely. Ashley, what's a lot of condos going on? Oahu Oahu's got them more condos than any other islands, probably all the islands combined. What's your take? How do you respond to people who are asking you about the condo rates and how to mitigate it, and what, if anything, they should kind of keep their eyes open for?
I don't remember the exact statistic, but I remember it's quite substantial, the amount of people that don't have the adequate insurance for condos. So what I'm hoping is that the governments step in and fill in gap insurance of some sorts, because this is definitely going to be an issue for condos moving forward. And something that I always express to clients, some loan programs don't require 100% like hurricane insurance, for example, and those are portfolio loans or high down payment conventional loans. But for your Fannie Freddie, which are all of your government backed loans that you're, less than 20% or down, USDA, VA, they all have that stipulation of needing and requiring 100% hurricane insurance. And there's not many that do. And that's declining. And I know that that's because in 2023, we had the highest amount of historically high amount of $1 billion or more disasters. And that was 28 of them in 2023. From 1980 to 2023, the average for $1 billion natural disasters or higher was 8.5. And then in the last 5 years, that has increased drastically to 20.5 natural disasters. So it's becoming completely unprofitable for insurance companies. They're pulling out. My opinion, the states or governments or federal governments are going to have to step in and do something to bridge that gap.
Please, Ashley, tell me that you didn't just ask for the government to solve a problem. Please, it must be like a technology problem that your internet might be like jerky or something. It sounds like you said the government's going to have to step in and solve this. I hope you didn't say that.
So I don't see another avenue if there isn't some type of program to bridge this, because insurance companies are not, I mean, if we're just talking about my hippie side, I mean, the number of natural disasters that are happening is unbelievable. I'm an average of 8.5 to now an average of 20.5 in just the last 5 years. This is wild. Like, let's look at what we're doing regarding our climates and what's going on globally. But needless to say, for the housing market, we're going to see a major impact on the housing market as a whole across the US if something like that is not done. I feel either that, or there's going to be some really savvy, capital investor who's going to find a way to leverage either my conspiracy brain, like a BlackRock comes in and they somehow figure a way to capitalize on natural disasters. Therefore, they buy up insurance companies or start a new one, and they can somehow still profit by giving the 100% insurance. I mean, other than that,
there you go. Conspiracy theories are way more fun. Please, yeah, that's a lot more fun to talk about conspiracy. Hey, Mark says, look, our condo needs to update the plumbing to face massive insurance increases. Mark, I'm assuming this is part of the sprinkler system probably issue, I would think. Anyway, regardless, either way, it'll be money out of our pockets. Well, that's the issue too, right? This would be I would love to get, it would be really fun to get some insurance industry experts into a room or a virtual meeting and ask them the fundamental, because here's what's interesting, Ashley. If you look at from the weather service perspective, the actual numbers of extreme weather events is actually down. It maybe sound counterintuitive. The actual number, like if you look at like giant storms or giant hurricanes or wildfires and all that stuff, those numbers are actually down historically. Yet, I mean, obviously there's been you mentioned there's been a billion, $28 billion plus dollar disasters that have occurred. So that's an interesting kind of a piece. I mean, the armchair economist in me is kind of asking, okay, what has been forcing these costs up? Like, for example, Heidi, in Lahaina, right?
Let me comment on
that. Go for it, man.
So here's an important factor, or just warning or consideration when you want to buy a condo or any type of property, is there's some personal responsibility in all of this. And at the end of the day, if you look at this, we're talking macro, worldwide, big stuff right now. But if you look at the micro side of this, all condominium complexes are self-governed by the people that own those condominiums. And if you own a home, that home is self-governed by you and what you do and what you decide to do in terms of coverage and upkeep and maintenance and things like that. And so I think the lesson that we got to learn here and that people have to consider is that we see this at every level of government, right? People don't get involved. And this happens at the condominium complex level all the time. It's the crazy people that are on the board. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to ever talk to them. So people don't participate. They don't participate in the meetings. They don't participate in the elections. And then the condominium is mismanaged, right? And underinsured, or reserves are not kept for maintenance. And then you get hit in the future by some extraordinary cost. And then you blame the condominium complex. You blame the board when it's really your responsibility. You're an owner in that, and you have some responsibility over the governance of that complex. And the same is true of your own personal home, right? If you decide over 20 years to do zero maintenance on your home and not upkeep it, you're going to get hit with a huge bill in the future, which is completely your responsibility and your fault. And so I think that's the big lesson learned among condominium complex owners and even HOA, just HOA owners in regular neighborhoods, is that involvement and engagement is the solution to this. And if people stayed on top of things and made sure things that were properly funded, properly planned for, a lot of this could be avoided. And unfortunately, on a widespread scale, that it just hasn't happened, and now we're paying the price for it.
Dylan, oh, wait a minute. You're telling me that I now have to be responsible for my life? Are you what? Wait a minute. It was the government. The government's supposed to do these things for us. It's not me. It's not my fault that I'm not watching over the ball. No, I'm just kidding. That's a very good point. And actually, I know that, one of our Islander Ohana members, and I'm not gonna name you, had just told me the other night that she goes, I've been at a homeowners association meeting, and I've been here all night. It's been for hours and hours and hours. I was like, yeah, I that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Mark is feeding us back. Yes, fire sprinklers. Mark's he had shared that his plumbing, they need to redo the plumbing in their building, or their insurance rates are going to skyrocket. It is about fire sprinklers, but the pipes are aging and corroding, which is another issue, right? These condos are now, especially in Hawaii, you got condos that have now been here. They're hitting the 40-year mark, the 50-year mark. Stuff doesn't last forever. And Heather is chiming in with that. Wait a minute. Heather's chiming in. I believe that the Lahaina fires really put us on the map, but I've also heard like the condo collapse in Florida has also raised the alarm from a structural perspective. These condo buildings are getting older. In fact, my wife and I were dreaming the other day about, kind of dream buying. Dream buying means you go around on Zillow and you kind of start to wish, like, what if? And, there's a pretty big difference in condo association fees between new and old condos. A relatively brand new one, had like, $400 a month in condo association fees, and a nice building, a nicer looking building that's much older had, $1,700 a month in condo association fees. So that was interesting. And then, okay. So Heather, that's the one. Okay. So Heather said it. Heather's coming forward. Heather Lavelle. Our company's board meeting was very engaged last night. It lasted almost 3 hours. Yeah, when those insurance rates are kicking up. And Jessica, a meeting last week had most attendance I've seen in years. Everyone's all of a sudden, now we're all freaking out. Right?
I'll chime in. I have investors that like to buy condos, and sometimes when you see an influx of condos come on market, they're like, wow, what's the cause of this? Is it like, it's probably mismanaged? So if you buy up a lot of these condos, then you can take a larger stance and seat at the board here. And then in my mind, I'm like, you can literally flip the whole building without having to purchase a large commercial property. You can essentially buy low because this condo is mismanaged, maintenance fees are too high, or the prices were suppressed because of X, Y, and Z. You go in there and you revamp the whole building, you put in proper management, because people assume when they get in, Dylan, to piggyback on your point and sort of nail that point home, people assume that the HOAs got their shit together, so to speak. And when you think about it, it's just randos that are often retired, or I don't want to say the words I'm thinking, but they're often people that are...
It's self-governance, right? It's like,
right.
People doing it themselves. Yeah.
And then often those people are like not the high thinkers, the people who are accountants, the people who are attorneys and more diplomatic or great leaders. They don't walk into a home and they're like, okay, I want to take on an additional responsibility on top of my work and my family. But at the end of the day, if you just did and you got your hands a little dirty and you encouraged other like-minded people to jump in there with you, you really can turn a whole building around and increase your property value in the process. So great point, Dylan. Thank you for
the other big economic factor
Excellent.
that we're not talking about here, which is just we have to take into account, is inflation, right? I mean, if the replacement value of a condominium or a home 3, 4, 5 years ago, we're just talking about, is almost double what it was, just based on inflation, the cost of labor, the cost of construction. And so insurance rates have to reflect that if something's going to happen to your house and you're underinsured. So that's a thing that I would recommend everybody does, is like, go actually examine your personal insurance rates, even if you're just a single family homeowner, and make sure that it covers what the cost of replacement of your house is. Because a lot of times it's behind, right? It's a lagging cost, and they think, hey, it's 400,000 to replace your house, but it's actually 600 grand to replace your house, and your insurance only covers 400,000 replacement cost. And so those are things that everybody should just spend some time doing some homework on and checking on.
That is a really good point. So
I bet 90% of single family homes are underinsured right now. So it's not just a condominium complex problem.
I'm using a collateral loan to go buy a condo to flip it right now on my house. And then they needed a copy of my flood policy, which is wrapped into my payments, of course. And I find out that last week I don't have flood insurance. The flood company had canceled my policy in the new year. I didn't know because I'm on paperless billing and it goes to my spam. I had no idea. And the last time this happened was 2 years ago. And there was a massive possibility of flood, and I'm on a canal and it was raising up, and I was like, I'm just going to check on it. I don't know why. And I'd also done a forced cancellation as well. And we reached out and they said that we just canceled it because it became too high of a risk, which my flood zone was always low. It was always a very low risk and very affordable. And then all of a sudden the company said I'm too high risk, did a cancellation. I had no idea. So do check your policies, make sure that you have them in place.
Boy, I'll tell you something. Boy, you're all giving me a nice weekend project. My wife and I are going to go through our insurance papers and make sure that we're covered and all that stuff. And really, that is the big takeaway for me here is that, hey, um, rates are going up, a variety of factors, plumbing, age, zone, insurance, fire, all this kind of stuff. Get on your board. If you're not, or at least get involved with your board, at least go over the meeting minutes, attend those meetings, get involved because it is a self-governance. It's your condo. You live in it and you need to take an active role with it. Look, we need to move on, but I wanted to give go ahead.
The same is true of auto insurance, right? Like the cost of cars have gone up. So if you have a totally paid off car from like 5 years ago, a lot of times the insurance policy you have is less than the replacement value because the value of that car has gone up over time, especially if it's a higher value type of vehicle. So yeah, applies to everything.
Yep. I want to give a quick shout out to Michael Lotta is back with us. Michael, welcome back, buddy. Aloha from Colorado. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad to see you have returned. And Native to Earth says they cancel your policy, but do they give you refunds? Well, they just cancel. In other words, they're not going to renew it. They're not going to kind of cancel it where they give you a refund. They're just going to say, hey, your policy is terminate. Your policy is coming to an end. You're not going to make another payment. So because we're not going to renew the policy. All right. You know what? We need to move on. We've had so much fun here. I was going to say, look, let me throw this out here just in case. So if you got some questions, if you have anything you want to ask, you got to ask it now because the show is actually going to come to. We're probably not going to have enough time. But anyway, pop it in anyway. If you got a question, we'll try to cover it. I want to get to.
I wanted to spend 30 seconds, Peter, on the whole $500,000 house on the other lot.
Oh
issues,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh damn, there's so much to cover. Go quick.
And so the short story for everybody is get a survey or staking done when you buy a property, period. Like that's a thing that we recommend all the time in transactions that people say, well, I don't want to spend the $800 or I don't want to spend the $1,500. That is a $1,500 insurance policy to ensure when you build something, you're doing it on the right lot. And so, staking a survey, ask your realtor about it and make sure you're getting that in your contract.
Thank you, Dylan. I wanted for those of us that have joined us after I mentioned this way back is there was a story in Hawaii about someone built a $500,000 house on the wrong lot. They built it on the wrong lot. That would suck in the Puna district. And Dylan's advice is well taken. I'm going to pile on one more crazy story. We paid the money to have our lot staked. We had the whole thing marked out, but our contractor built the house too close to the lot line. So we had a non-conforming house, and I was too dumb to know about that until it was all over. So you also, get a good contractor. All right. So let's move on, gang. It is time for Diamonds and Deals. We got some properties over here that our friends have put together for us that we want to show. So why don't we get this one started? Heidi, you're the one that is ceremoniously starting up our Diamonds and Deals here. What do we got here, Heidi?
This is a new construction condominium in Wailea, and it has this amazing lanai, as you can see the picture, with a built-in grill. It's facing west. You have ocean, sunset views. Never been lived in. Listed for $245. And yeah, there's not a lot of new construction on Maui, so this is pretty exciting.
Heidi, now did you like this? Is like God's design at work on our show, right? We're just talking about condos and condo buildings that need maintenance and I got to believe that this thing is like, well, obviously it's brand new, so it's not going to have maintenance issues for a while, and the insurance issues are all worked out, so to speak. I hope. I'm assuming, right, Heidi? Probably. I shouldn't assume.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would never assume anything, but I would hope so. Yeah, it definitely does not have aging plumbing or anything like that. Yeah.
Mark is not going to have aging plumbing problems. Mark's got nothing. Mark is the place for you and your wife to move into. Thank you. It's beautiful. That has got to be that photo. That lanai is ginormous. At least the way the photo looks. That's a huge lanai. Huge. Awesome. Thank you, Heidi. Let's see, what do we got here? This looks like Ashley. What are we looking at here? It looks like a Mediterranean villa on the left-hand side. What is this?
Well, that's interesting. The text is supposed to be black. This is a really, again, divine, timing here. This property, we were supposed to also talk about the rolling blackouts potentially that they've announced we're going to experience here in Hawaii. So this house is got 4 separate living quarters. You have the main house, which is a 3 or 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom. It has 2 connecting Ohana suites, and it has a 2 bedroom, 1 bath accessory dwelling unit with its own 1-car garage as well. It has 40 PV panels and 4 Tesla batteries, and that's a 13-foot pool. So it's in Kailua, right in Enchanted Lake. It's a fantastic location if you're not familiar with it. It's a phenomenal price at $2.985 million. I mean, 4 separate living quarters, solar, Tesla batteries. I mean, this checks everyone's boxes if I have ever seen one before, and under $3 million.
Damn, that 4. You said 4 different dwelling areas, or was it how?
Yeah,
how many
because you've
was
got
it?
the 3-bedroom, the main house, which is 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Then you have 2 attached Ohana suites. So those could either be master bedrooms, or those could be guest rooms, or they could be, living quarters. And then you have another 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom Ohana unit, an accessory dwelling unit that has its own 1-car garage. You have the 4 Tesla batteries. So I'm looking at getting batteries right now because I have 30 solar panels, but no batteries. So with these rolling blackouts, it doesn't do me any good.
I'm a believer. I knew about this power thing was going to happen, and I am a believer on it. Mark says, Heidi looks like Mark says, I'll take it. Who wants to front the down payment for me? There we go. That's the right question, Mark. Right question. Michael says we had a survey done as part of a land purchase. The seller stiffed the surveyor, and they then filed a workman's lien on the property after we took possession. Ensure you get receipts for everything. Man, the headaches never end. Dylan, this is why. I mean, you guys had this talk about the buyer's agency thing all kind of changed, but this is why you need to get professionals on your team, man, because God knows what kind of stuff.
And that should have never happened. That bill should have been cleared before escrow closed. So unless you worked out something outside of the contract, if it was in the contract, you need to contact your escrow company because they should have cleared that before closing.
And then if you have representation, you go to your representation and you hold that buyer's representation accountable, that brokerage, and then that title company, because there was a lot of checks and balances in place. And again, the topics can go so far and wide about the whole lawsuit regarding, buyer's agent's representation.
But this is why we're not gonna let that happen to you. We're gonna make sure that bill is paid before you close. So
exactly, this is why this is a big gigantic investment in your life. You better, here, in retrospect, Michael, is that we don't know this, but let's just kind of take a hypothetical. Let's say that this was done with you decided that you didn't want to pay the 3% to a buyer's agent, and you kind of went ahead and did the thing yourself. Would this, is this worth the 3% that you saved? No. Hey, Heather's ready. Heather's ready to move into that property, Ashley. So Heather just needs some Ohana. Hey, Heather, throw it out, man. Get the honor Ohana there. I mean, we get. I'm sure Auntie Joan would love to move into that studio. I'm sure we could kind of do a couple. Maybe Jessica and Wes want to do a cool upgrade. It'd be a lot of it would just be hilarious. Okay, Michael, in contact with an agent. Good. Get that agent. That's it. That's who you need to get a hold of. Yeah. Excellent. So cool, Ashley. All right. Let's kind of wrap this up, man. We've had so much fun. This has been one of the funner shows that we've had in a long time. All right. Cool. So drum roll, please, for Dylan's property. What is this?
That's the old one from last show. Next slide.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Is this
that
the
was
one
from Kauai,
okay.
actually?
Okay.
Well,
so that's right. That's Kapa'a. That's not the big. Okay. Here we go.
We don't pre-plan this too much, but this is actually a brand new build in Pahoa on the correct lot. So this and we had some diamond properties here, but this is I always want to go back to and feature what you can get affordability wise on the Big Island. This is a brand new build, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 1,200 square feet for $375,000, and this is not cheap, right? I mean, look at the finishings in the bathroom and the kitchen. I mean, stone countertops, stainless steel appliances, hardwood flooring. Hawaii is not out of reach, and whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're not somebody rich moving from the mainland, it's definitely possible. But you definitely want to make sure that the beautiful brand new house is built on the right lot, which this one is.
I'm just impressed as all hell by the incredible job on that roof. That roof shot that thing looks like it's an amazing. That has got to be like the best constructed roof I've ever seen. And the interior shots, of course, are awesome. So,
And just
I
related
don't.
to that whole story about it being built on the wrong lot, this happens a lot in the Puna district. I mean, there's probably more new construction happening there almost anywhere in the state, where because there's an abundance of land, of affordable land, developers can come in. And these are not large scale developers. A lot of these are, mom and pop developers, guys that are building 2 or 3 homes a year, and that's it. But this is what they can build on the east side, because the land values are affordable. You can build a house and still sell it for a reasonable price, because that's definitely in other areas of the state. Like on the Kona side, to get a comparable lot, you're going to pay 10 times the cost for a comparable lot on the Kona side, which is going to increase the value of your house up to $1 million. And the same exact house could get built on it, but it's going to cost you, $900,000 or $1 million on the west side. So
that's right, because that land price is such a huge part of it. Well, Jesse Naomi Grace is loving life, so we're glad that you're with us, Jesse. And that looks like a Big Island shot in the background there. So
Jesse's on the team. She's one of our amazing agents.
Jesse's on the team. There you go, man.
Yes.
Jesse's loving the property, of course. And Kinaya just joined. Kinaya, time change. Sorry, girl. Kinaya is also a member of the Islander Ohana. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kinaya, you were on the very, very first cohort years ago. So welcome back. It's great to see you. Kinaya will be living in Hawaii one day. I know it. She's been here a bunch of times, and it's going to be happening. All right. Hey, we need to move on. We're running a little bit late on the show here. Let's get to our closing motivational thoughts over here, and let's kind of start with Ashley. Oh, by the way, if you got closing thoughts you want to share, please pop them in the comments. It's great to have everyone's closing thoughts.
You have to refresh. That's not mine for this week. You have to refresh.
Okay. I thought I did the refresh over here. Let's see.
There we go.
Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. Refresh completed. Go, Ashley. What's your thing today?
Only disciplined ones are purely free in life, and undisciplined are slaves to their moods and their passions. Motivation gets you going, and discipline keeps you growing. So as someone who's extremely motivated myself, I have a lot of visions, and I get, the momentum going, but I realize that my processes, my systems, and my discipline is what really has been the catalyst to keep things growing. And I know probably everyone here also experiences that and can attest to that. So have your goals, have your visions, but make sure that you have the discipline to see them through.
Discipline. There's one kind of a workout motivational speaker dude that talks about discipline is freedom or something like that. I forgot who it is. And, Dylan might know who that is. Is that you? Yeah, discipline is freedom, right, Dylan? Hey, that's what
I'm on my wall right there. Discipline equals freedom.
Okay, I knew I saw that somewhere. It's back of my head.
Jocko Willink is the
thank you. That's the guy.
Yeah.
Jocko Willink. Hey, Auntie Joan. Thank you, Auntie Joan. Great to have you back with us. I wasn't sure if you were going to be here today, but I'm so glad that you are. She's always got great words of wisdom. A diamond is just a lump of coal that's stuck with it. That is a great one. Scientifically true. Excellent. All right, Heidi, what's yours and what is its meaning for you?
All dreams are within reach. All you have to do is keep moving towards them. So to me, this is just about keeping inspired. Past year, there were a lot of unexpected things, certainly out of my control, but, just keep moving towards your dreams and that's what's important. So
keep moving toward your dreams. I mean, I think one of the best things I've ever heard, and I mentioned this before several times, which is, don't compare yourself to anyone else, but rather compare yourself to where you were last year. And that's that is the rule. Are you better off than where you were last year, which is about related to keep moving towards your dreams. Just keep moving towards, not away, towards your dreams. Excellent. Thank you, Heidi. I think this is someone else's. Okay, here's mine. Of course, I'm going to do my. It wouldn't be me without my Proverbs.
That was mine. You skip me.
Oh, damn. Sorry about that. See, I'm all confused. I didn't do the show last week. I didn't do the show, so I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, this got to be Ronnie's thing. So hold on a second. Okay. Sorry, Dylan. Go for it.
No, and also I was all queued up because it's so relatable to what we've been talking about today, right?
Totally.
The world is not changed by the world is changed by your example, not your opinion. Nobody cares what you think or what you say. It's what you're doing. So just remember that when you're governing your condo complex.
There you go. Remember that when you're governing your condo complex. Yes. It's not what you think about your condo complex. You got to get involved with your condo complex, right? It's not, no one else is going to do it. You've got to do it. Thank you, Dylan. You know what, Dylan, I'm going to come up with my limit.
And to, a lot of real estate agents watch this show too. This is relatable to real estate, right? We're working. These are 3 high producing real estate agents in the state, and we're working on Good Friday, right? So do as we do, not as we say. But that's a big piece of this. Is my office is empty right now, and it's like when people wonder, like, oh, how'd you get to where you're at? It's like because I show up and I actually do stuff. So just watch for that. Never mind what I say.
You show up. There's a related line on that one, which is democracy belongs to those who show up. Democracy belongs to those who show up. And so we could just change that to say condo associations belong to those who show up. It's a same kind of thing. Same kind of thing. All right.
Profitable condo associations.
Profitable accounts belong to those who, profitable or not, they belong to those who show up, right? Whether it's profitable or not, they belong to those who show up. If those who show up don't care about being profitable, well, you're gonna have an unprofitable condo association. Yesterday is Good Friday for many Christians, and I wanted to respect that and wish that for those of you that are I'll take this for a moment over here. For those of you that are practicing Christians, this is Good Friday. It's probably one of the most holy weeks of the year. Enjoy the blessed weekend, and of course, what we as Christians are anticipating to occur on Saturday. So bless you all. Proverbs, my favorite of great. A perverse man will be filled. Here we go. We're going to relate this to condo associations. A perverse man will be filled with the fruit of his ways, and a good man with the fruit of his deeds. And we could translate this to say a perverse condo association will be filled with the fruit of its ways, and a good condo association with the fruit of their deeds. Well, of course, what this means, right? It's almost self-explanatory. I still am blown away by what Proverbs meant 2,500 years ago, of how it is the fruits. The fruits of your deeds will work out one way or another. And so that is that. All right, folks, I'm going to say goodbye to Tom. Mahalo to everyone. Happy Easter to you, Tom, and Joan. See you tomorrow. We're going to have an Islander Ohana talk story session tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Dylan's going to be there as well, and Dylan and his team is going to be attending that. So we're looking forward to that. Going to be the first thing. Happy Easter, everyone. Thank you, Auntie Joan. We will see you. Have a wonderful, blessed Easter weekend. All right, let's say goodbye, everybody. Let's do it counterclockwise. Ashley, then Heidi, and then Dylan. Say goodbye. Oop, you're muted. Back up one more time.
Have a great Easter weekend, everyone. I hope you guys do something fun and enjoy this extended weekend with your ohana and stick to your dreams. Aloha.
Aloha. Heidi.
Happy Easter. Aloha, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
And have a blessed weekend, everybody.
Have a blessed weekend. We're so glad that you're all here. We'll see you folks in 2 weeks. Aloha.